1017 FM, 710 KEEL, Robert and Aaron in the morning. Dan Keel is in for Robert, who's on vacay.
Hey.
Matt Parker at the controls. Sheriff Steve Prator, Caddo Parish, joining us this morning, already at the office. What the heck?
Well, I come in early sometimes. I like to get in when nobody's around, ask questions and do things like that and interrupt me while I'm doing it.
Yeah, get a lot of work done. Well, I'm calling and asking questions and interrupting your day. I hope you don't mind.
That's okay.
I want to start with a couple of guys breaking into your property first. Over the weekend, was this your home? Was this some property you own somewhere else?
It's the house that was flooded out that's now destroyed, and it's just a shell of a house all broken up. Hadn't done anything with it, but I have a pier out there, and I have a good number of probably there's a retired fireman that fishes out there. My sons fish out there, and I fish out there, and we keep all of our things locked up that we fish with. Some nice rods and reels, very nice. Probably about $2,500 to $3,000 worth of rods and reels and fishing things, and a lot of things from the home that's still there too that we keep locked up. But that was stolen.
We recover anything? Any of your property recovered yet?
Right, we recovered some of the equipment, or some of the fishing equipment. We've recovered from the stolen car and from different residences where this gentleman, the main culprit, took it and disposed of it.
Let me ask you this. I asked you this last night when we were texting back and forth. You got two guys arrested. Were either of these guys on the state's early release list?
Well, I'm not exactly sure because it takes a while to go over the rap sheets and see. I know that the very last time this man was arrested was in May of 2017, just last year, and he was arrested for felony possession of stolen goods, and he's out. The reason I say that is people are under the impression that this criminal justice reform was just an early release for a certain number of prisoners that got out back in November of last year. That's not the way it is. Those are the ones that they let out retroactively because of the law, but now the law's gone into effect. So instead of serving 35% of what you're sentenced to, now you serve 25%. That's the kind of a thing so it's a continuous thing. It's in place right now, so people are getting out earlier than they ever were. They're having less probation than they were.
This is a guy that should have probably still been in jail and not broken into your property.
Well, I don't want to say that for sure, but he very could have. This guy is a criminal. He's a criminal, just a habitual criminal. He's been arrested on. So far, I've counted 23 different times on well over 50 charges, and I counted up so far 24 victims. The reason it's so hard to tell because these Department of Corrections, you can't get the depositions off of them. You can just get arrest. The sheet, it's 12 pages long. Is his rap sheet, and so you can see the aggravation I have because it plays into the fact that we are more interested in the criminals than we are the victims, and that's the part that is so aggravating. All the money we're going to save on justice reinvestment, 10% goes back to the victims, any kind of victim program. And anyway, it's just aggravating, and this is really aggravating because I didn't get my stuff back, and I worked hard to buy the items I had, and I know the firemen did, and I know that that my sons do.
You bet. Let's shift gears a minute because a little bit of a feud with the governor kind of escalating.
Okay.
He denied your wife Carolyn's appointment to the Red River Waterway Commission. His office has told me that the paperwork was not submitted on time. You have now sent me documentation to the contrary. The governor,
right, and I'm really the only way I'm involved in her appointment is the fact that the governor is holding it against me, so he denied her appointment. I didn't even know that she was considering applying for that position. I didn't nominate her. I can't nominate anybody. The law is very clear about there's 3 bodies in the parish that have to nominate the person from Caddo Parish, and that is the Caddo Parish Commission, the Red River Valley Association, and the Caddo Levy Board. And my wife knows those people much better than I do. I didn't know. I mean, it's not a deal you might think or hear about where, oh, the sheriff wants his wife on there for some reason. I didn't know she was going to apply for it.
She's been dealing with the levy board for a while, hasn't she?
She's been on the levy board for, I don't know, maybe 8-10 years. She led the charge to take all the taxes off of the Caddo Parish people because the fund balance of the levy board was so good. She goes to all the seminars, all the training. She knows all about. She knows. I'm the Homeland Security Director, and she knows as much about the river and the currents and the flows as I do. And then you just look at the house. I mean, we at a lot of loss. We financial loss and trouble and everything else. We lost our home to the river. How could you be more passionate or knowledgeable than she is? I didn't know even she was going to apply. So I don't have anything to do with it. The only thing I have to do with it is the fact that the governor decided to penalize her and her free service. There's no salary to this. He decided to penalize her because I was critical of this early release program and conjuring criminals on some of rather than taking care of victims. The reform needs to take place at the first of the criminal justice system, not at the end start letting people out, especially when there's no programs, there's no additional programs to help these people. And I'm all for getting them out of our jail. I'm all for never seeing them again. But they're like this fool that broke in my place. You know, we're going to see him again. He's going to get out again. We're going to see him again. He's going to get out again. We're going to see. How many people you got to victimize? Mm-hmm. And it does just, you know, I'm sick and tired of people stealing from me.
For the governor's office to say the paperwork wasn't submitted in a timely manner, they lying?
Yes.
No doubt.
Well, I've got the registered letters that she has. She didn't apply. She does not actually apply to the board, to the Red River Waterway Commission. These three bodies in Caddo Parish have to nominate her. These three bodies nominated her and just her because of her service, and they nominated her. The notification was sent out that there was a vacancy by the Red River Waterway Commission on February the 23rd. And by March the 22nd, all three bodies had sent paperwork in, had notified. On March the 8th, the Caddo Levy Board sent their paperwork in about, 4 or 5 business days after they were notified there was a vacancy.
Disappointed that a governor would act in such vindictive way?
Oh, I'm disappointed. Yes, I'm disappointed, and not just vindictive, but it's contrary. It's contrary to what the statute says. Just look at the statute. That's all you got to do. It's kind of like it's justice reinvestment. You can't argue with what's on paper if, in fact, it's passed by the legislature, which the governor was in the legislature, and the governor has to abide by the law. And just because you mad at me because I've got a lot more experience than he does in the criminal justice field, just because you mad at me because I'm taking a different stance than you, then don't take it out on someone else that's well qualified.
Message to the governor this morning.
Good morning, Governor.
Caddo Sheriff Steve Prator, you got to take me out there fishing one day, please.
Well, you're welcome, but I don't have anything to fish with. I got to get it out of evidence, and after I identify it and sign for it and everything, just like everybody else has to do. But these fools running around, and you know, I hate that the dog caught him in the woods, caught this one guy in the woods and beat him up, but that's just the way things happen. That's, it's not our place to punish people, and he wasn't being punished. He was just running, and he's being charged with fighting the police dog and trying to hurt the dog, fighting the deputies, aggravated flight from the office. This guy is a bad seed.
Mm-hmm. Might be at my house next, huh?
This guy is a bad seed, and I don't know how many victims we could line up in court and say, please do something with this guy.
Yeah. Sheriff,
it's just aggravating.
it is.
It truly is.
It really is. Caddo Sheriff Steve Prator, thank you for your time this morning. Hope you have a great day.
I will. Thank you.